to me. So Science Investigation Awards. Now hopefully in your folders there's an information sheet that gives you a little bit of an overview about the Science Investigation Awards, okay? We're going to go through it a little bit more in detail. So the aim of the Science Investigation Awards is for your students to do a science inquiry and then, as mentioned, to write it up so that it's a report and a poster. And the standard format, we ask people to have the poster as a standard format, okay? That way all the displays are consistent. So if you go onto the website, because I don't think I've put it in the folder, it gives you what your poster size are. They're called flute boards. You can get them from a local supplier, which I'm not sure who the person in Launceston is.
I think Big or any other signage company should be able to find that quite easily.
Yeah, cool.
The website was on the original email that I sent you.
Oh, cool. Lovely, thank you. Okay, so Science Investigation Awards, what happens? So the students do their science inquiry in the classroom with you guys. This is the format that we're after, okay? So their written report and their poster that clearly says what their title is up here. And this one was looking at what light attracts millipedes, and then as part of their poster, a little bit of introduction, a little bit about their method, most of it around their results, conclusion, acknowledgement. So a bit of a summary. The report is what they can go into more in-depth about, but the poster's got to be those key points. And these are just some examples of some of the Science Investigation Award projects in Hobart. So this person here, but it's also to show you the different types of work that the students do and the different sorts of projects. So this one was looking at how much fat was in a sausage, and you can see typically you get students putting up graphs, which are good, but if you have a graph and a table, probably don't need both. They tend to want to put everything on the poster. So looking at what is going to best represent your results, really important. So I'm going through all the Hutchins ones, aren't I? But this is give you some examples about, this one was about what impacts on a wind turbine, and this person had gone into a lot of work. This was a year 10 project, I think. A lot of work around aerodynamics. This was really interesting. How does your Martian garden grow? So mimicking what sorts of things, because that title immediately grabs you. What's she talking about? How does your Martian garden grow? And I'm just trying to remember, Laura this is about her third year, so she's got all this down fairly pat in terms of how she does things. I'm just trying to remember what different variables she was measuring, because I know all the judges went, oh, title, really interesting, and now I can't remember what the project was about. But yeah, so again, just to give you an idea about the sorts of things that students come up with. These guys were doing a microbial analysis on your toothbrush. I know we did a similar project once where we had different types of toothpaste and how do you clean your toothbrush after you use it, hot water, cold water. I think the students wanted to put it in mouthwash as well, which was not a good idea because that encouraged bacteria to grow. Their project actually got to the BHP Billiton Awards, which was really exciting for them. So yeah, again, just giving you a bit of an idea. These guys worked with and had some support from a local aquaculture group. So they were looking at fertilisation of Tasmanian Atlantic salmon eggs, so quite an in-depth project, and it's certainly gone to a lot of work. This was one of the winning projects, looking at the study of a farm's water supply ecosystem. So hopefully this is just giving you a bit of an idea about the range of topics that the students do. A little bit of the format as to how they're set out. This person's here's got some examples of her potato plastic. So students can bring in some show and tell, if you want to use that terminology, but there are limitations around it. I know in Burnie last year someone wanted to bring this huge plant and we had to keep carrying it around, and so, but Adam will talk a little bit more about that. So yeah, so people can support their poster and their report with some items that help get their key message across. And you can basically see that all these projects are set up in a big room, and we have a panel of judges. I think in Hobart last year we had something like 200 entries and we had 50 judges. Judges normally work in pairs and they go around to each student and they ask them questions around their project. And then the judging team for a particular year group will get back together and talk about all the projects they've seen. They might go back and visit some of them again to come up with their shortlist around first, second and third. So the judging normally starts, so we normally have an hour of judging, we have a bit of a break, and then we go back and do another round of judging until the judges can finalise their choice. So students might be visited 2 to 3 times by the judging panel, and consequently, you know, everyone's really nervous until they get judged the first time around, and then they get a bit more comfortable, and by the time the third round of judges come through, you know, they know their stuff, and it's amazing just to see that change in confidence as well. Yeah, so again just sort of showing you the different sorts of projects. We get quite a few around health. Students like doing things like reaction time or around memory, so working with other students to collect data. The other thing I was going to say, so at the end of the judging process, so it's normally from around 10 o'clock to about 12:30, and then what happens is everyone goes home, and the winning students the schools then run out and notified, and they're invited to come back to an evening presentation, and that's when they get awarded their prizes, and their displays are all taken along to the evening presentation as well, and the people who sponsor the prizes are invited, so it's a really big event to have your display up for everyone to see, to, you know, walk down and get your prize. Last year in Hobart we had first, second and third for each year group. First prize being $300, second prize being $200, third prize being $100. We had some highly commended awards at $50 and a People's Choice Award where students go around and look at everyone else's posters and vote for their favourite topic. So yeah, again just trying to, that was the one that had the discussion in Hobart about which arrow's best and looking at archery. So OHS risk assessment, this was something that was she actually did as part, she does archery, so she did it under the supervision of her archery club, and so it's probably not something you'd want to do in the classroom, but again it's looking at...
you can try.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, these guys were looking at bacterial transfers around whether you're shaking hands or doing a fist pump. So hopefully this is just giving you a bit of an idea of the diversity of projects that are up, and a little bit of an idea about how the day works. These guys were our grade 5s and 6s. We didn't have a lot of grade 5s and 6s in Hobart last year. We had heaps up on the Cradle Coast campus. And these guys had really gone to a lot of work. This was an extension science class, and they were looking at how salt affects conductivity of water, and it was they've done an absolutely fantastic job, and that was another person also from Friends. So that's a bit of an overview about some of the projects that are presented, a little bit of an overview about how the day works, and I'm passing
You've read that anyway. I was really quickly running through the judging process. Judges will check all the presentations, talk about the pairs. Questions will be asked of the students, so don't be afraid. That often just letting them know that is a really important thing, that they're going to get questions asked by the judges. They want to find out more about the project. But there isn't a lot of time. Obviously there's lots of projects that we're expecting to come in, and so the judges will have about 8 to 10 minutes that first round with them, and then we'll obviously come back. So it's not a long time to be able to spend assessing the work. So it's just important to sort of note that yes, the judge is with me for like 5 minutes and then they're off with someone else. That's the way we sort of evaluate that in the first time. It's they'll have to get sort of be prepared for that, and then judges will confer and they will check as well. So they will come back. So it's not just that's it, you've done it once, I'm out of here. Yeah. No, judges will be coming back, and there will be other judges sort of moderating and checking marks and things like that. So that won't just be a one-hit job in terms of the judging process. Criteria, excellent. So the judges will assess on 6 key criteria, and they're all evenly weighted. So these are all things that we will, I'll talk about a resource that we've got all of these on. And so we've got scientific thought and scientific understanding. We've pulled those apart because obviously they're 2 really core components, and originally we thought, we'll just have it as one, but it's such an important thing that we wanted to make sure that it's worth the marks in that space. So the scientific thought is about appreciation for the scientific method, and then the understanding is coming from their conclusions and the application and what that actually means for the ongoing stuff. So thought is obviously the start, understanding is the sort of second half of the process. We've got technical and graphical skills, so that's that care and effort has been taken place in terms of just putting the whole thing together. The research materials were well cared for, that it was well planned, it was well thought out, and obviously it's carefully prepared. So quite sort of straightforward. Originality, want to see original ideas, creative ideas. There might be some creative approaches that they might have gone through as part of that. It's a really core component of this. So originality in its own has its own sort of criteria in that space. Thoroughness and effort, so this is actually then the detail that they've gone into in terms of the project. So have they just done the one test and that was it, or have they gone through multiple times, or have they had a reflection and maybe changed something, and that effort that they've gone through in terms of the put into the project. And then presentation itself, so it's actually the presentation of the information, the way they've spoken, the way it's all displayed, and so it's actually making sure it's easy to be able to be communicated as well. So while presentation might sort of seem like it's got a fair bit of weighting there, it's actually the ability to communicate that information that's really, really important. So that's why presentation is on its own there. Easy, 6 criteria. And then we briefly sort of quickly talked about this. So then timelines, we talked about how the day works and how the awards work, which means I don't have to talk about that. What we are doing is, on the next slide, I'll talk about we've created an online resource that basically everything will come through. And we are looking for students to submit their reports by as a digital document, because they'll obviously write them up, onto the website basically before midnight on the 20th. It gives us 7 days out for us to. Some judges are actually really keen to read them beforehand, and so we're making that available if they want. But also then for us, it's really handy for us to be able to prepare, because this is the first time it's happened in Launceston. We don't know if we're going to get 10 or 100 or 500. We're not sure. Last year in the Northwest Coast was 420 odd students. So do we need to be prepared?
300 plus projects for judges to judge
Yep.
for 2.5 hours. So logistics are quite challenging.
That gives us a bit of a heads up, so we can understand, and we can also check things. So while it's sort of, it seems a little bit daunting to go, oh, we've got to submit something early, it helps us out a lot, but it also then helps get prepared for everything for that final day. And then obviously the awards day, 9 to 9:30. Obviously there'll be lots of people here we're expecting, and it's all going to be run in the old cafe that's down that end. I haven't been here for ages. So go past the Raymond Ferrell Centre and then down that grass area where there used to be a cafe there, it's no longer there anymore.
Uni Bar used to be, everyone used to go to uni.
Yeah, okay then. I know the uni bar over there. I know the uni bar over there. There you go. But yeah, so we're going to be down there. It gives us heaps of space to be able to do everything. But obviously we'll be meeting people, and I'll be the one communicating where that all is. So basically you just walk straight from the turning circle to the buses, and then the presentations are in the Raymond Ferrell Centre, which is basically the main presentation space that's just beside there, and we'll point that out to everybody as they come in. So that's kind of the way the day works. Obviously we'll be communicating more detail with that, but basically we're looking for entries, the students to have completed their reports a week out, so that we can get an understanding of what's coming in and what's prepared.
There is no entry fee.
No. There you go. You can write that down. No entry fee.
So Adam, the online entries, is that like the report?
Yeah, the report.
Plus a picture of the poster?
Just the report. Just want the report. Just the report. Obviously the poster, they may be still preparing it, they may still be doing stuff with that, so that's okay. But then that report, at least we've got a good understanding of what's coming in, and that will just help. We've got some of the awards, especially the higher age groups. That there is a Young Scientist Award that we have awarded that's quite a major award, and those judges have actually asked that that's a part of that component. They actually spend a little bit of time beforehand judging. For the primary ones, they might want to cite them, but they just want to have an understanding. So.
The Young Scientist Award last year, the first year we offered it, on the Northwest Coast. It was $1,000, donated by Lion, which was great. The winning project was absolutely outstanding, and I believe it won in the VHD Bulletin Awards. And I'll just talk a little bit about that pathway a little bit later. And I think the person that won that award is now off to an international science fair. Now,
she was in Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago for it. I caught up with Anne Burke, and she was talking about, there's some footage that she went to Pittsburgh and presented at Pittsburgh, and she did quite well as well from what I heard. So
this is the Science Investigation Awards are part of a pathway, and in your folders, if you don't mind, I'll just go and show you what the pathway is. So the people that want to participate, we've got, people might have heard around CREST, which is CSIRO's scheme that encourages science inquiry. That particular one does have a cost to be involved, but we've put some information in your resource packs about CREST. Here's the University of Tasmania Science Investigation Awards, and this is the only one where students actually have to talk to judges about their project. Okay, so it's that face-to-face communication. If you're entered into the Science Investigation Awards, you can then also enter into the Tasmania Science Talent Search, and when you enter that, all you need to do is enter your report. Okay, you don't have to do the poster, so the students can send after the Science Investigation Awards if they want. They can send that to the TSTS, Tasmania Science Talent Search. There's a small entry fee for that, isn't there, Jane?
Trivial, about $3 if your school's a member and $5 if they're not a member.
Yeah. So once they're in the TSTS, then the winners from that then go through to the BHP Billiton Awards, and I have to say that Tassie students over the years do exceptionally and consistently well at the BHP Billiton Awards. Given that we're a small state, 500,000 people, I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but we usually have at least one student in the top 5. And there's normally quite a lot of highly candidates from our Tassie students. So the pathway to the BHP Billiton Awards is through the Tasmanian Science Talent Search. And then, as we just said, the BHP Billiton Awards can lead to a whole range of different things. So I just wanted to highlight with you that if your students are going to do a project, and if they are really keen, there's other avenues that project can be entered into. Again, it's just a pathway in terms of you'll get some feedback from your judges here to improve your project if you want to go to TSTS. TSTS, you get a little bit of feedback too, particularly those that are going to go on to the BHP Billiton Awards. And this is all ages, am I right? Jane, grade 5 to grade 12?
For primary teachers, BHP is a really lovely thing. If you get a couple of the presentations or booklets on the end are from my daughter who did investigations when she was in primary school, and they would get chuffed off to BHP, and she was never going to win anything big, but a box would turn up with $300 worth of science toys in it, and like crystal growing kits and magnifying glasses and all sorts of really exciting things. It was like Christmas coming because she got a minor prize in the BHP competition. She just loved it. Not as much as me.
Yeah. So the Timing Investigation Awards is designed to then actually make that a pathway. So I know everyone sort of talked about the fact that yes, this is a great opportunity to tick some of those boxes in terms of investigations, but if they love it, then there's more to go on with, and they can.
I think TSTS are due end of September. John, is that right?
Yeah, 27th.
Yeah. And then BHP are due end of October-ish. About-ish.
Yeah.
Usually the TSTS deadline is to allow judging and submission to BHP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So as Adam says, it's all there. It can all flow nicely if your students want to go down that pathway.
So who can help with everything? You've obviously got myself. I'm the coordinator for both the North and the Northwest. So I'm the one that's basically making sure the day runs smoothly and everything in the lead up is all goes according to plan. I will confess now I do not have a science background. I'm a registered teacher, I teach in business and innovation, and I run events like this all the time for school kids, but I don't have a science background. So basically the great thing that I am so grateful for is we've got Kathy, who does have a science background, who will be helping out and be able to do school visits and be able to talk to you about things. So between the two of us, we should be able to answer 99.9% of your questions. Now, if there's other questions, then obviously we've got Jean Marie that we can ask, and I do notice that her contact details are also on your sheets, but obviously we should be able to get most of those questions really easily sorted. So
I run the Southern Science Investigation Awards with Adele Wilson, whose contact details you'll see on some sheets as well. So basically the Science Investigation Awards are a statewide process, started in the Northwest, really strong on the Northwest, have been run in Hobart for some years, were running Launceston but sort of faded out, and we really want to try and invigorate that and get lots of interest from Launceston schools this year.
yeah, so this Jean Marie is based in Hobart. Obviously Kathy is based here, actually in this building. This is where our office is, and I actually live in Queenstown on the West Coast. So I am an email or a phone contact, but probably coming up and visiting might be a little bit of coordination. So, but look, we're all here to help and make sure that this actually runs really smoothly. And really want to make sure that as many students do get involved and actually enjoy the process. I do have one more slide, which is resources. I can now put this up here. So exciting, we finally got this approved last night. So this is and we'll make sure that you get all handled this, but that's the website link, and we've put everything into one database. So in here is information that there's some of the forms that you've actually got in your packs, the packs for teachers, the letters for parents and students. That's all on here, and you can download it and you can get access to it. As the judging sheets are finalised, we'll put them all on there and we'll post them all on there. There is also actually a specific teacher resource. I've just taken a screenshot from here. There is a specific teacher resource where the pathway for those awards are all listed there in the web link, so that if you do want to find out more, they're there. There's some great resources online in terms of inquiry-based learning for science. We've pulled them all together and put them all on the resource so you can easily click from it. And so it's designed as a place that everything can come together if you need to find something about the awards, and then as we create stuff, it's just sitting there if you want to get hold of it. And so that's a really, for me personally, it's something I've been working on, but very excited to get that up and be able to have that there so that anybody can tap in, because you might be sharing some of these resources with other teachers as well. They can all tap into this online space as well.